Beep, beep, beep. A young Miyazaki man was playing with his Liverpool bus when suddenly, breaking news, a £257 million wage offer was made to Mohammed Salah. Hello YouTube. Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. Hope you guys are well. £257 million offer for Mohammed Salah? We gotta talk about this. If you end up finding this video interesting, please give it a like. Smashing that like button really helps me beat the YouTube algorithm and get my videos seen. Hoping to make Liverpool content for you guys for the foreseeable future. Subscribe if you haven't already, lots of interesting videos coming up, including the dream house we hope to build in Miyazaki, Japan. Looky, looky. Is that a cheeky gym? And keep your comments coming in the wall below. I love to see them respond as well. All conversations always good. Agree, disagree? Let me know. So as you guys have probably noticed by now, I like to take the emotions out of my analysis and give you a bit of a kind of rational view on the pros and cons of both sides. So let's start with this interesting offer. And it's very important to note this is a contract offer. The finances are going to Mohammed Salah and his agent as well. This is a lucrative offer for the player. In terms of the actual transfer fee, what Liverpool would receive, it hasn't been announced yet, but I saw a few articles come up today that say they'd be willing to pay over £100 million for Mohammed Salah. So first and foremost, before we get into the nitty gritty and the juicy bits, it's probably worthwhile saying that I really can't imagine this happening for various reasons, and we'll go into them very shortly, but most of which Jurgen Klopp would veto it. He'd just veto it out of the ballpark. Even if FSG, John W. Henry, Tom Werner, or anyone else wanted to put pressure on him to say it's a good financial business decision, yeah, it's not happening. But it is very interesting timing by PIF, the Saudis here, because we play Newcastle this weekend, and lo and behold, here we go, disruptive influence in the media, trying to get a tactical advantage, the mental kind of stakes. Very interesting indeed. So first and foremost, one of the reasons why I think Salah is hugely important to this current Liverpool setup, because in the absence of James Milner and Jordan Henderson, who set the standards in training, arriving on time, giving it all of their energy, all of their might every single day, being a role model example for young kids like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Steven Petretic, all of the youngsters, right, Kwanzaa, whoever enters the building. Salah is now kind of the last stalwart alongside Van Dijk and possibly Alisson as those big star name influences that probably work their arse off. And Salah has literally just been included in the leadership group this season as well. He'd be like, yo guys, I'm here to Jane, matane, bye bye, minasan. Gold dayo, I love gold. And it's not just that, Salah among those is probably the one that works the hardest, because he is the ideal role model in terms of nutrition, looking after himself, what he does off the field, and even social media, right? He's not really about it, he just wants to show pictures of his abs, his body. It's his agent Remy Abbas who's, sometimes causing a stir, but hey, that's what he's paid for, right? His job is to look after Salah's best interests. It's not Liverpool's best interest, it's Salah's best interest. And to be fair, I think he's done a cracking job, because he's given Salah the biggest contract in Liverpool history. Well deserved, of course. He's one of our record, statistic achievers of all time. He's won everything with Liverpool, highest goal scorer of the current crop, and his assist tally is rising and rising. And speaking of assists, of that forward line, it's actually Salah who's the one that seems to be really picking up on those assist numbers as well. Everyone can go up and down a bit sporadic. You expect Gakpo linking up from the false 9 position. Maybe he'll get a few in the coming weeks as well, but he's played that pseudo 8 role on the left for a while. Nunez isn't the most prolific assister. He's not the most prolific scorer either, but what you have with Nunez is he can run in behind the line, as it's demonstrated sometimes when he's played on the left wing, drill it across. Salah was there to finish it. Nice combination, have a little tandem partnership going on there. Jota, he's well versed in finishing as well. I'm very excited by that, and Ben Doak will get the odd assist here and there, but Salah's numbers for assists are quite consistent, and I'd expect him to kind of carry on where he left off. I think in pre-season he's got quite a few assists as well. And speaking of kind of role model influences, right, Harvey Elliott mentioned it specifically that Mo Salah influenced him to stop eating white bread, so now he goes for brown if he eats bread at all. I'd recommend he cuts out bread, but hey ho, if he likes that gluten, then it is what it is. But Novak Djokovic, perhaps the best tennis player of all time nowadays statistically, cut out gluten, his life changed for the better. That's when he became consistent. His body, I think his asthma issues kind of resolved themselves. And then he entered the upper echelon and just had the edge over Nadal and Federer in the latter years. So cutting out gluten, big life changing decision. Maybe Harvey Elliott follow suit. Additionally, speaking of star names, right, it's the influence on the pitch as well. When you're always against Mo Salah and Mo Salah's on the team sheet, there's a kind of consistency, a comfort, a kind of He's kind of the player that you look out for when you shift the ball over to Salah. You expect something to happen, but not just on the field as well, off the field, because the influence of Salah in that squad, prospective signings would look at your squad and be like, I have a chance to play with Mohammed Salah, I have a chance to play with Virgil van Dijk, I have a chance to play under Jurgen Klopp. Mohammed Salah fits that category because he's obviously a world idol. He's really proved himself over the last few seasons. He is absolutely a Premier League legend, a football legend. His statistics speak for himself, and his performance and his drive and determination, and will carry on with that aspect of his personality. So this is one of the reasons why I feel fairly comfortable with this whole Salah situation, and it's because even if, let's say, he ends up with bad back syndrome or he starts sulking or whatever, he's such a model professional with the drive to win that once the football league in Saudi Arabia, the transfer window has closed and he knows for sure he can't move on until next year, Salah won't down tool. Salah will still turn up to training, give it his all, perform the best of his ability, because he's such a sore loser. He wants to win, he wants to do well, he wants to be man of the match, he wants to get his goals. Probably doesn't mind assists as well if you win, but he wants to get his goals, right? So all in all, that's a good thing for Liverpool. You can see in training as well, Salah always wants to win. He hates to lose, and he's the ping pong champion as well, right? He hates to be defeated in any activity. He is a physical specimen, and he's got the will to win, that fire and desire. But here's the most crucial point why I believe Jurgen Klopp cannot afford to let Salah leave now. The reason is all of the pre-season preparation, the tactics, the going through the scenario-based training, the roles, the relationship he has with Trent and Szoboszlai, the idea behind the function and the philosophy of the team and how it flows, gets out to the wing, what he needs to do, cut inside the dummy runner, the outside runner, the fullback overlapping, dropping into space, whatever he needs to do, right? The whole system has been built on the premise that we have a world-class right winger who is left-footed, likes to cut in. Now think about that for a second. If the whole system is designed with that particular player profile in mind, okay, when people are talking about potential replacements, you might have 150 million, 200 million, and we'll get into the transfer window in a bit. You're going to need someone who fulfills that particular role to carry out all of the preparation that you plan in advance, and that player will come in having not done any of the prerequisite work to fulfill that function in the team. Because they weren't at Liverpool, they haven't gone through the training. They can be shown images, can be shown diagrams, can do it in the training sessions coming up, but the season's already started. So you are basically depriving yourself of a thoroughly well-planned strategic player that fits your function, who will start every single week and is expected to those goal participation events, whether it's a goal himself or an assist or the assist before the assist. Okay, so you're basically ripping up your rulebook unless you find an absolute ideal player who's a student of the game, who can pick up your tactics, make an impact from day one, but also stay fit, because Salah is never injured. He is fit and raring to go and doesn't want to miss a single minute of any game. So you're going to look for a player with all those attributes that can fit that tactical role, as well as be injury free, as well as be that influence in the changing room. You're never going to match his leadership and what he's done for Liverpool already. Where is that player? Like literally the only right wingers who are left-footed who could make an impact. Moussa Diaby just signed for Villa, right? Rafinha at Barcelona, very hot and cold, some experience in the Premier League. Even got people like Leroy Sané, who's dropped off a cliff, but he's starting to pick up form again. Bayern Munich, the absolute ideal one. Actually, Bernardeschi's not a bad shout. Bernardeschi's alright as well. Bukayo Saka is probably the only one who would probably take over the mantelpiece from Mohammed Salah. He's top quality, English, got the world at his feet. Love that guy, but yeah, it ain't happening. Even Mbappe is not that player. And speaking of any potential player that comes in, they've had no training and no ability to build a relationship or have that chemistry with teammates. Even the banter and the personality in the dressing room, and who you have relationships with off the field, right? Tsimikas and Salah, in the absence of Lovren. You know, everyone loves Salah in the changing room. He gives you a snide little cheeky, sarcastic little taunt as well. You know what he's about in the changing room and his relationship with all the players and the staff, right? And a player coming into that hasn't got that dynamic. So even Mbappe, he just doesn't have that dynamic, and it'll take time for him to get up to speed in order for him to have an immediate impact. And it's just not what you do as a functioning organisation such as Liverpool, who would have pre-planned this for a long time, okay? And there's probably expectancy that bids would have come in, not just from Saudi Arabia, but from PSG. But there will obviously be a long-term plan to replace Salah in the future, but it can't be for this season, because basically you're putting your season on the brink of risk and failure for the fact that everything you've prepared up to this date has to be ripped apart for the sake of a business decision. And I heard some absolute fallacy around Selling Salah gives you the budget, the money brought in through transfer and saved wages to have a rebuild. You can buy your midfielder, buy your starting defensive midfielder, buy your left-footed centre-back. All these things that for me is already a little bit controversial, but I'll get into that in a different video. That's not necessarily true because you've prepared for this season. This season's already started. Are you throwing away the season for this rebuild? Why would you rebuild? Why would you want to sacrifice potential harmony and your preparation for the upcoming matches and the fixtures where you need to get those 3 points to keep the momentum up on the top of the table to chase Man City? Why would you throw that away? Because even a bedding in period and a rebuild, you're basically throwing away months of tactical preparation to win the points at Newcastle and to win the points going forwards in the next few fixtures. And as much as I like the options in the current squad, Luis Diaz could play there, more depth at the left, cutting in, very dangerous, bending it into the far corner. Jota could play there, but not natural either. Darwin Núñez, haven't seen much from him on the right, neither Gakpo as well. Ben Doak, still a youngster, will make an impact, not experienced enough to hold that role for now as well. Also, his body might let him down. Harvey Elliott, probably the most suited for that role, but he's not a long-term successor to Salah right now as well. He needs still that bedding in period to find his feet, to find his pace, to find his link-up play as well. We just don't have the option to replace him. And Szoboszlai, we're not putting Szoboszlai starting right wing first of all. That limits what he's really, really good at, and also it leaves us short in midfield. Again, question for another day. So this rebuild is nonsensical, absolutely nonsensical. And speaking of transfers as well, if the fact that you sell Salah, they know, all the clubs know, that you have this inflated budget. Obviously, you already got 110 million from Caicedo in the piggy bank. You have the additional money from Salah. They're going to rinse you, absolutely rinse your wallet until you are skint. All the players will be overpriced, overvalued, and long term it's not going to be viable even to plug a gap for now. And this late in the window as well, the type of player that Liverpool FC would go for is probably the key player or one of the best players in a prospective team, and those clubs wouldn't have time to find a suitable replacement, so they'd really charge a premium if they even enter the conversation at all. So even thinking about all these different variables, the transfer of Salah seems very, very remote. And especially because the Saudi Arabian League, the transfer window closes later than Liverpool, you may think that it plays into Saudi Arabia's hands, but no, Liverpool would literally just say, no, it's not happening. You could pre-agree a deal maybe for next year, maybe that will satiate Salah and allow him to play his best and focus as well. And I'm sure the money does speak volumes, even though he's incredibly, incredibly rich. But as far as I can see, there's no real upside of selling Salah if you want to accumulate points in this very important period at the start of the season, when Man City have lost their most influential player, De Bruyne. Haaland is obviously a beast, but De Bruyne has been influential on the pitch, doing crucial things for them in important moments. And then you got Manchester United, who are faltering with injuries. Luke Shaw has just been out, Højlund is coming back from injury, Mason Mount is out as well. Chelsea struggling to bed in all of these new signings. Wildcards like Newcastle, who are predicted to do very well this season with a very talented manager and very talented squad. Arsenal with their new rock in midfield, Declan Rice, and their expectancy, really being up there as well. Unfortunately, during Timber's out, Timber looked actually very versatile, very quality as well, so it's unfortunate for them. Gabriel Jesus coming back as well. Kai Havertz, who knows how he'll do. Liverpool have a real opportunity here to make a statement at the start of the season and get themselves in amongst the top of the table. And if they do, get some of the hard fixtures out of the way, there's going to be heavy involvement of Mo Salah in order to do that. And the funny thing for all the other team fans who are trying to disrespect Salah, it's very interesting that on fantasy football, I know it's a terrible metric, but he's the 4th highest selected player of his position. 28% of fans, not just Liverpool fans, because 28% is more than Liverpool fans who play fantasy football, have selected Salah in their team. Lo and behold, he's going to do well this season, right? Rack up a lot of points. What does that mean? Productivity for Liverpool. Get in, you Reds! And on the flip side, you're talking about astronomical sums of money for Liverpool, over £100 million. But what does that really get you? Get you a Caicedo, and it may not even get you that. Or you could use over half it to get Alavia, who hasn't played. Or a one-season veteran of the Premier League, Czech Decore, over 70 million, fantastic value for money, which gives you a 30-40 million buffer left over for what? To be absolutely rinsed by another team. And then you look at his age profile, as some people have been saying, over 100 million for a 31-year-old Salah who's not going to get any better. It's not about the finances, it's about the disruption to the preparation for the season that is already in flight. Will Salah lose value next month, 6 months into January? No, he will still be valued more or less roughly the same. He keeps himself in peak physical condition. He could probably be the same player he is now for next 2 to 3 years. He'll be very influential still. Whether or not he's got that absolute rapid pace and finishes and get those sky high numbers every season is yet to be seen. However, he's never been the most consistent anyway. Sometimes he shoots beautifully, sometimes he's very flaky, but he always is in the right position and always gives it a go, and he's always an outlet available for Liverpool. And he's a trusted head in the Liverpool team to hopefully lead us to glory this season. If we're going to win anything, Salah is going to have a big say in that. And Salah himself knows, as the highest profile football Muslim in the world, he's always going to have a place. He's always going to be attractive for the Saudi Arabian teams. And Al-Ittihad, right? I assume they really want him now because, you know, they're offloading Jota, really strange decision, buying him, perhaps loaning him out to a rival team or a rival country. They're actually in the Club World Championship this season where they'll face Man City. Could that be an influence as well? Well, it could be, but their team's not going to beat Man City, let's be honest here. So all in all, if I were in Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool's shoes, I would not worry at all, because if Salah were to sulk and throw a strop over the finances involved, when the Saudi Arabian Football League transfer window ends, he'll be back to himself, leading by example, wanting to kick some serious ass on the football pitch. The offer will still be there for him next year going forwards. He's got 2 years left to run in his contract. He earns a fair wage already. His agent came out earlier and said he's not interested in moving for this season. He's committed to Liverpool. He'll have to backtrack on that slightly, no matter how many zeros or finances are involved there. Salah seems to me to be a man of honour, so take that for what it is. But most importantly, Jurgen Klopp would absolutely veto any potential offer. He'd rebuff it just like that. He'd be, what are they smoking over there in that league? And there's no way that FSG or anyone can go above Klopp to overrule him in this decision, because basically you're putting yourself at risk, double-edged sword of Klopp leaving because you've double-crossed him. And Klopp is the boss, it's not going to happen. His influence in Liverpool could start a riot. And that would hit FSG where it hurts the most, their share price. So all in all, sensational news, amazing news. I'm going to get back to playing with my Liverpool bus. So if you found this video informative, please do give this video a like. It really helps me to beat the algorithm and keep the channel growing. Subscribe if you haven't already. Lots more Liverpool related content coming very soon. Comment below if you agree with my opinions. If you disagree, don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. I love conversation about Liverpool FC. Miyazaki man, Ichiban. Have a good day all. And let's get a cheeky signing in before the end of the window. Peace. And I've heard great things about a cheeky Nando's as well.